Chamber Radio, and I am so happy to have Jeff Haynes with us today in the studio. He is a serial entrepreneur and part of the TEDx event that's happening in October at FAU. We are so excited to be part of that, and I just want you to why don't you start by just telling us a little bit about your background, and then we can go into some other things.
Okay, well first, Allison, thanks for having me. Okay, yeah, I'm a serial entrepreneur. I started in my early 20s. Actually, my first job was with BMW of North America, so for a 20-year-old, it was an amazing place to work. But after 8 or 9 months, I realized that it just wasn't, not what I wanted to be doing. So I got this bug early to try to product development. And the product development now, 30 years later, I guess, is it's worked out pretty well. It's fun. It's fun for me because it's always something new, something I get to be creative. I get to use my hands on the product development side. The problem is when you have a really good product, you wind up having to run the company. And so, I've gone through a series of building products, then having to run the company that sells the products. So, but I always wind up coming back to this creation thing that's, for some reason, running through my blood. I can't.
Did your family do this?
No, my dad was a Wall Street guy, and my mom was a stay-at-home mom. We were raised in a little town in the Northeast, up near the George Washington Bridge. So. All I know is my dad tells me when I was a little kid, I used to take the lawnmower apart and I'd take bicycles apart and all that. I could never put them back together, but I had this fascination with the mechanics of it. But interestingly enough, went to business school instead of going to do something along the engineering lines. So, but yeah, it keeps my life a lot of fun, I think, the development stuff.
So tell us the TEDx piece. How does that come into play with you?
Well, the TEDx talk in October is all about innovation, right? And redefining yourself by leveraging innovation.
Right.
And when I started looking into trying to figure out commonalities in innovation, is there one component that we could focus on? And what I came across, which really resonated with me personally, was these hunches, these ideas, these intuitions of how a product could work or how you could change something. So I've been in Palm Beach County since '97, so I guess there's a lot of people down here who know what I do. And I mean, just being nominated was like unbelievable for me. And when they chose me to speak, it was
big deal.
It's a big deal for me,
Yeah, I think it'd be a big deal for anybody. It's very exciting.
It is kind of exciting.
I mean, to be associated with that is just, I think, huge.
And innovation now is just so pervasive, especially the way the speed of technology. If companies aren't innovative, it's really hard to hang on to market share.
Right.
When you have so many innovations coming into, and it's every market, right?
It is. This market, though, is huge for innovation.
Yeah, it is.
Huge with everything that's around here.
What's funny is, this disruption term, right? That all of a sudden has become, very common.
Very mainstream right now.
It's true, and you're watching companies coming out of nowhere picking off mature industries and trying to disrupt them, and they're doing that with innovation. So I think the people who organized the TED Talk this year were spot on in picking innovation as the topic.
Yeah, definitely. It kind of goes back to that old thing about there's no such thing as a bad question. That all ties into this, because nowadays really there isn't, because your question could be the next innovation.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I look at it. But
yeah, I agree with you.
So
right.
Tell me a little bit. Oh, I'm sorry.
I was going to say, even my mom, who's, she'll kill me if I say how old she is, but my mom has always got these ideas she has, German Shepherds, and she's always got these little ideas on how she could tweak a product or something, So maybe,
and has she done it? Has she?
She hasn't, but, who knows what happens over the next year or so. She has great ideas.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's great.
Yeah, it's cool.
So, tell me a little bit, can you give us like a little bit of a tease on what you're going to be talking about specifically, just so, just hone it in a little bit on whatever you can talk about?
Yeah, I guess I would put it this way. From Albert Einstein to Steve Jobs to Jonas Salk, they've all relied on this sense of knowing without really knowing how they know,
Interesting.
But of course, you have to have practical knowledge in place, right?
Right.
So when I started doing the research and started coming across all these statements that they had made about the value of this esoteric knowing without knowing, a light bulb went off in my head, and I said, I don't think you can have innovation without intuition, true innovation, right? Because it's born out of nothing.
Right.
So I became fascinated with it actually, and I
You
really,
just
really
look so
enjoyed
like
it.
you're so excited about everything.
Yeah, well, you know,
That's
look,
so
we live in
wonderful.
South Florida,
Yeah,
right? I mean,
yeah.
we're healthy,
Yeah.
and we have opportunities like this to speak at a very well-respected university about subject matter that really I think can inspire people. And the reason I wanted to do it is I want to inspire people, of anybody, if you have an idea, you know,
Yeah.
pursue it,
Mhm.
especially today.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, it's all very exciting.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
sure it is. So
Yeah.
what else do you want to talk about? What else do you want to tell us? A little glimpse into you that might be interesting for the listeners to know.
Oh, we're just completing the development of a heads-up display for motorcycles. And we've done that all in Palm Beach County.
Wow.
We're working with the tech center, a guy at the tech center up in West Palm Beach,
Okay.
and a firefighter out of Palm Beach Gardens. It was his idea. So we've developed a safety product where a motorcycle rider can see 320 degrees around them, right? Your own vision
That is
forward.
amazing.
And we record all of it. So in case there's an accident, you have 320 degrees of video,
Right.
you know, so that's a project we've been working on for almost 2 years.
And
So
when do you think that's going to roll out?
we're hoping to launch for Christmas of this year.
Very-
We're that close. The
very
electronics are
exciting.
here, and
Yeah.
now we're doing road testing and things along those lines. So that's really exciting for me because I used to ride a lot. I don't ride in Florida.
Mhm.
My wife won't let me.
Yeah. Smart woman. Smart
But
woman.
the safety element is what I'm really, really interested in.
Yeah.
We show the 170 degrees behind the rider with a camera. We're filming behind the camera, behind the
Okay.
rider, and we're sending it to a display, a tiny little display about the size of one digit on your pinky that sits inside the helmet. So the technology is amazing, and what gets me excited is that we're leveraging technology to increase the safety capacity for guys that are just riding bikes, right? And in the U.S., there's 4-to-1 baby boomer riders to millennials. So we're talking about an older bike population
that, yes.
safety is really important to. You know, they have kids, they have obligations.
Right.
So I'm really, really excited about that. Yeah.
Good.
And then
Good.
who knows what's next? You know?
Yeah.
I love just doing this. Ideas, build out the ideas, and
Right.
see how far we can run with
So
it.
your mind is always going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
No, I think that's a really good thing. So, well, thank you for being our guest today. And I know for one, are really looking forward to hearing you speak in October
Yeah, well, thanks,
at
Allison.
TEDx.
I appreciate it.
And, I look forward to speaking with you again. And thanks for being on
Well,
the
you
radio.
made this really easy for me. I really
Well, I
appreciate
think you
it.
made it easy on me. So you had a lot to talk about. So
Cheers.
thank you.
Thank you.